Greetings, Zombie Slayers, Slippy Jim here. Welcome to my review of Exo Zombies, the new zombies, brought to us by Sledgehammer and Raven Software here in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. We have the very first map, which is this map, Outbreak. Now, I'm going to compare this to Treyarch Zombies. Now, a lot of people might say that that is a bit unfair, considering Treyarch have had lots of experience and have released 3 Call of Duties with zombies in them, and you know, Sledgehammer is their first effort and all that stuff. I do understand that, but still, this is Call of Duty, and we still pay good money, and you know, we have a right to our opinion, I guess. And just to give you a bit of background about myself as a Zombies player, I have been playing Zombies not since Black Ops 2. I'm not one of these Black Ops Johnny-come-latelys either. I'm originally started playing Zombies on World at War way back in the day. I can't remember exactly which map I started playing Zombies on. I think it might have been Shino Numa. But yeah, I'm more of a purist Zombies player. For instance, I don't like using Quick Revive on the old Treyarch maps too much, because that's how World at War used to be and stuff like that. So that's just a little bit of perspective on the kind of Zombies player I am, and perhaps some of the reasons for my opinions about this new Zombies from Sledgehammer Games. So how it's going to work is I'm going to be talking about what is the same or similar about Exo Zombies compared to Treyarch Zombies. I'm also going to be talking about what is good about Exo Zombies, what is kind of meh, you know, take it or leave it, whatever. What is bad or could be or should be improved about Exo Zombies, or at least this first map. So they're the main things I'm going to be discussing here. And of course, it is just my opinion. Everyone has a right to their opinion. So first up, what is the same or similar in the Exo Zombies compared to Treyarch's maps? Generally speaking, well, the point system is the same, and I kind of appreciate that, and I like that because, for instance, in Extinction mode and also in the survival modes, the point system was completely different. So it was kind of difficult to readjust to, you know, whether you get points from hit markers or not, you know, whether you get extra points for headshots or melee kills and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. The perks in the map, or Exo, what are they called? Exo upgrades in the map here are pretty much exactly the same as the main perks, except for double tap, I guess, which is a bit unfashionable these days, although the double tap 2 was pretty good. But so we have stuff like Exo Medic, which is quick revive, or the same thing, Exo Health, which is Juggernog, and stuff like that. There is 2 new perks or Exo upgrades, which are Exo Soldier and Exo Slam, so that is pretty good, but you do expect some new perks to be introduced with new maps. Now, apart from the perks, the drops are pretty much the same as well. So we have Hyper Damage, which is insta-kill multiplier, which is double points, and a DNA Bomb, which is nuke, as well as a Power Surge. And even one of the character comments is, "It's like a fire sale," which is pretty much the same thing as a fire sale. Like, you can buy weapons from the 3D printer for like 10 points or whatever it is. So that's pretty cool. The one drop though that is different is the traps drop. I forget what it's called, but that turns on all the traps in the map, which is pretty good. There's also dog rounds, so that's pretty much the same as some of the older maps, and I kind of like that nod to tradition. They drop a max ammo, which is always good, and they speed up the rounds, of course, because they're pretty much every 5 rounds. So I've always been a fan of dog rounds, and I think that's pretty cool. And I quite like the dogs and the design of the dogs in this map. The Monkey Bomb is back as well. It's called the Distraction Drone. Probably not the most original or imaginative description for it, but it is actually much more powerful than the Monkey Bomb and does the same sort of thing as well, which is really good. There's also a musical Easter egg, which requires you to find and interact with 3 objects around the map to play a song, even though the song is not that... well, I guess it's a subjective thing, but I'm not a huge fan of the classical stuff. I prefer the good old death metal, heavy metal that we used to get, Eleanor Sigmund You cannot beat Eleanor Sigmund and Treyarch music. I just love that kind of music. And it goes with zombies really well. So I kind of missed that, but still there's a musical Easter egg of sorts, I guess. It'll be interesting to see what they bring out in the next few maps in terms of the musical Easter egg. There's also a tombstone-like thing in the map that you drop when you die in multiplayer, which is cool. So they're the things that are the same or similar to regular Treyarch zombies. Moving on to what is good. The zombie pathfinding really did need an update. It was way too easy to train zombies in anything but the most cramped maps. So the AI is better in Exo Zombies. The different zombie types seem to have different pathfinding, which is interesting. Like for instance, the EMZs seem to flank a little bit and stuff like that. So I really like that. That's definitely added a little bit of a challenge without going too crazy like we had. With some of the survival flanking movements that went on was probably a bit too far with the AI. So yeah, they got a good balance with that. I also like this curing yourself of an infection part of this map. Whether they bring that back or not will be interesting to see. But I also love the fact that if you can't cure your infection in time, you become a zombie in multiplayer. And you basically, your character comes back in and tries to kill the other players, and they have to shoot you, and you're like in theater mode the whole time. So that's a really cool little thing they added in the game. The mystery box is really good. It's pretty much the same as it always has been, the 3D printer, except there's an element of skill now where if you time it absolutely perfectly, you can sometimes choose the weapon you get. So I think that's really balanced how they've done that and adds that element of skill in, which is good. You can buy back upgraded guns from the wall and from the 3D printer. Once you've upgraded them, you put them back in the box if you like, or you swap out your wall guns for something else. You can buy them back off the wall at the same level you upgraded them to, so that's really good. You can effectively buy ammo off the wall when you upgrade guns, although obviously once they're fully upgraded, it no longer allows you to do that, but that's pretty good, and I think 2,500 is reasonable for that function. The characters in the map are really good, way better than Black Ops 2 Zombies, particularly Oz, played by John Malkovich, Lilith, Decker, Mr. Khan. They're all good actually. I think they're the kind of characters you can really get behind and care about. And really good voice acting and really good humorous dialogue and stuff like that, interactions with Angie. Overall, I think this map is better than Transit. Now remember, Transit was the first Black Ops 2 Zombies map Treyarch released, and it was very disappointing. Still probably one of the worst maps we've seen from Treyarch. And this map is definitely better than that, so it's perhaps a sign of good things to come, because usually the later DLC is way better than the earlier DLC. The traps are pretty cool. This is obviously a subjective thing. Some people don't like them, but I think the lasers and the way the doors slam on the zombies is kind of hilarious and funny at the same time. The perk bleed out system is pretty good as well. That's a good idea, and gives you an incentive to revive quicker, so that's really good. Really good unique thing that they put in the map. There's no risers, at least in this first map, which is fantastic because I hate risers. There's only a couple of glitches. Considering the exosuit lets you fly around the map and stuff like that, I think they've done a good job, because almost all the maps the Treyarch released had quite a few glitches early on, and some have never been patched. Even way back in Narc had glitches where you can be invincible and stuff like that. So far as I'm aware, there was only the one invincibility spot in the main hub, which is now patched super fast. And also the zombie pathfinding, which is still glitchy on the stairs to the exo room from the holding area. Sometimes a zombie will just get, go into some sort of weird sort of circular pathfinding around the turn in the stairs there. Apart from that, it's pretty glitch free. There's also more health, so it's something like a 3-hit kill without exo health. And I counted about 7 hits with exo health, which is just crazy. In terms of the difficulty as well, it starts off kind of easy. Like my first game ever on Exo Zombies, I got to around 25, which doesn't usually happen on learning a new map from Treyarch. But after that, it just gets crazy difficult. But I think it's really balanced, and that's quite good. So that's the good things. The meh things that I don't really care about are the orbital drones. I can take them or leave them. They're kind of a bit too much survival for my taste, but they kind of have their uses, I guess. I'm undecided on those. Hit markers, I don't care either way. Easter egg is, almost expected these days. Some people were disappointed with the ending of it. I thought it was pretty balanced without going crazy. Like, some of the Easter eggs in the Black Ops 2 were just overboard, I thought. Particularly the buried one and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad for first effort. Keep in mind, even maps like the legendary Doris had very, very limited, simple Easter eggs. So we can't expect, absolute craziness for the first map from Sledgehammer. The map size, I think it's a medium-sized map. Some people are saying it's small. A lot of people are saying that. I don't think it's small. It's about the size of Doris Shino Numa. A pretty good size, particularly again for a first map. I think some of the maps got way too huge in Black Ops 2. Okay, so they're the things I don't really care about sort of either way. Now the bad things about Exo Zombies, and some things. The first thing and the most huge thing for solo players is that there is no pause function in solo. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, if you're a casual player, it might not be too much of a big deal, but if you're playing to get to high rounds and get records, it just doesn't allow you to even go, for a pee break, or, answer the phone, or grab something to eat. And why does that matter? Well, Zombies is a really, for a mini game, it's a really long mode. Like, it's not like a quick game of multiplayer. Like, for instance, it's quite common even in a random lobby for me to get into a game that goes for an hour or two. That's normal, right? In a random lobby. But if I'm in solo going for a solo for high rounds or something like that, for instance, when I did round 115 on Narked in World of War, that took 5 hours. So that's, the 5 hours is a pretty long stretch. You could do that without any pauses, though, without a pee break. But when I did round 1337 on Shino Numa World at War, that took almost 2 days, okay? And on the Black Ops maps, when I've got over round 100, they can take... for instance, on Ascension, I think I did over around 120. I can't remember the exact round I got to on that one, but that took something like 2 weeks. So, 2 weeks solo, you can't do it if there's no pause. Now, the other thing is, keep in mind the key things that make Zombies fun. Going for high rounds, beating your records, beating your friends' records, and if you don't have the pause function in solo, you're just taking that away from everyone. In multiplayer, it's different because one player... Well, that's another thing that I really should move on to, which is the zombie bleed out. And that is just crazy in this map. You can't feed a zombie like you could in World at War, where you basically let it hit you and they stay alive indefinitely. You can't do that in this map. Also, if they're slightly injured in Black Ops 2, they would eventually die, and they wouldn't respawn. So that was sort of annoying, but you got used to it, okay? But the other thing is, if you move to a different zone in Black Ops 2, the zombies would that were too far behind, they would basically respawn in the zone that you were in, okay? Or if you just didn't damage them at all, eventually they would despawn and respawn again somewhere in the map, so that you actually had to kill them to progress rounds. The problem with Exo Zombies is, after a couple of minutes, whether they're injured or not, whether you feed them or not, the zombies just bleed out and die. So you can't keep a zombie, even in multiplayer, let alone solo, if you have to do something, if you're doing part of the Easter egg or whatever. which is really, really annoying, and it also allows people who get in these invincibility glitches to get to super high rounds because they just have to wait or go AFK, and the zombies will just bleed out and die, and it will progress to the next round. So that needs to change. So no pause function, they need to patch that and put that in for solo. And the zombies just dying after a couple of minutes and not respawning is also a really bad idea. But I mean, they've probably had that in there because of the couple of the pathfinding issues with some of the zombies. But what they need to do is make them respawn like Black Ops 2. The upgrade system. The upgrade system, you can upgrade your gun to level 25. So to do that, it costs 50,000 points. Now keep in mind, in Treyarch Zombies, Pack-a-Punch costs 5,000 points only. And a Pack-a-Punch gun, you know you're going to get something good. Even the starting pistol is a beast. In this though, like, there's almost no discernible difference apart from camo and some attachments and stuff like that. You know, bells and whistles. Even the highest level Mark 25, almost any gun feels really underwhelming. There's nothing unique about it or exotic, and they don't seem to have much power. So that really sucks because, once again, remember, high rounds is important in zombies, the guns, the wonder weapons are important in zombies, and both of those things they've fallen down and failed on this map, in my opinion. The closest thing to a wonder weapon is the shotgun, and it is sort of okay, but it's not that great. It's got a slow reload, it loses power in the higher rounds, and it doesn't do anything special. Like, think about some of the wonder weapons we've had. The Wonderwaff, the Thunder Gun, the VR11 Baby Gun, the Sliquify, the Paralyzer Wave Guns. Probably the closest thing we had to the shotgun in this Exo Zombies is the Blundergat. But even that you could upgrade, and when it was upgraded, it fired the projectiles that stuck to walls and zombies and exploded, and actually had a monkey bomb style effect to it. So it was, you know, it was a genuine wonder weapon, something exciting and unique. The other thing is there's no round leaderboards. It's based on points. Now maybe they did this because they figured people would get invincibility glitches, and so they wouldn't be killing zombies, and so they didn't want them going up the leaderboards. But you know what? Have a look at World at War. Eventually when the hackers get into the game, and they will eventually get into the game, they'll just put whatever score they want in there anyway to get on the top of the leaderboards. So that's pointless. Really, the main thing in leaderboards should be, and has always been in zombies, the high rounds. People don't really care about points too much. It's a bit of a bragging rights thing if you have a lot of points in a game, but apart from that, it's all about the high rounds. So the leaderboards need to start and end with high rounds, full stop. The other thing is Exo Zombies only comes in the DLC for Advanced Warfare, which is crazy because not everyone buys the DLC. In fact, probably I would say the minority of people do buy the DLCs. So people don't get to experience the Exo Zombies mode at all if this is their first Call of Duty and they don't get the DLC. Plus the cost, you're looking at say $80 Australian for the game, and then another $60 for the DLC, $140 just to get the zombies. You know, you're probably going to get 4, maybe 5 zombies maps out of that. Also, just I'm nitpicking now, but the lower round zombie movement looks like it's just slowed down animations from the fast animations rather than having a separate motion capture for the slow animations. Like, they look like they're, like when they jump through a window, it's in slow-mo. It defies the laws of gravity. It just doesn't look right. One thing that slightly annoys me is there's like another token female character. You know, like they had 1 female and 3 guys in Black Ops 2. Well, they've done exactly the same with this. Now, I'm a huge fan of Lilith, don't get me wrong, but maybe they could have had 2 women, 3 women, all women, or something like that, you know what I mean? Why just have 1 token female character? Also, there's no radios or coded messages, which could have added, you know, added that mystique, added that mythology to the map. The other thing is the zombie sounds sound kind of quiet and weird. Like they're not very loud. Like when you kill a zombie, or when they're running at you or something like that. Like they can stealth mode up on you and stuff like that. I don't think they did a great job with the zombie sounds. But now I'm just getting into the nitpicking. Overall, I think if you're into the Treyarch Zombies mode, you are definitely going to enjoy this Exo Zombies. And considering the long wait since the last proper Zombies map we got in a Call of Duty, it's definitely worth getting. If you have the cash, definitely get it. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the next few maps and what they do and where they go from here. But that's it from me, guys. That is my review of Exo Zombies. Hope you enjoyed. Please remember to rate and comment. I'll catch you guys in the next one.